the bounty hunters. All right, Captain's not only gonna live, but he should be making a full recovery soon enough. No doubt he'll be debating with Cindy about whether to use a healing coma or not, but he's not doing anything until he knows for a fact he doesn't have to get up off of that bed and whoop some ass, Mr. T says. They were in Sector 7 poking around and soothing egos. The fires were out and already repair crews and drones were moving to get things done. You think he would? Hoagie asks curiously. Pukey seemed like the kind of stubborn that might, but he also didn't seem the kind of stupid that will. He might. I think he's trying to egg us on with the threat alone, but he may follow through, Mr. T says. Still, we need to wrap things up. We can probably leave things as is, but you never win by doing things part way. We still need to figure out that modified picture and where the hell that second shooter came from. You know you could just fucking ask, right? Hoagie's main wife, Zabriza notes wryly. Everyone pauses and glances to her with the exception of Hoagie, who's chuckling into his hand. What? Shit started the next sector over, and even if the girls give hell, my man here is not only married, but I'll be with him. We'll be fine. Not to mention I'm station staff. I have cause to be anywhere whenever I so please, Hoagie remarks. Oh, come on. Who do you need to talk to again? Sister Clapperclaw. She was right there when things happened and was close to the victim. She might know exactly what's going on, short of her daughters, who are likely more than a bit of a wreck. So hopefully her right hand, who's not family, might be more together, so to speak. Hoagie explains and Zabriza shrugs. Sure, whatever. Either way, there's no way the mother will be finishing that project we sent her. You had Mother Mailer working on something? Mr. T asks, and Hoagie nods. I wanted to make things more official for my girls. You know, something stronger than the guy they have a room for that they fuck on the regular. Something, I don't know, more like a marriage? Mr. T, Itchy, and Mustard are just plain staring at him no, as Zabriza is hovering above him and outright blushing with a dopey smile on her face. Just bringing it up has clearly made her day no matter what comes next. So, I'm gonna be here a while. Running solves nothing, so trying to make it work seems at work the best. Lucky the girls in the galaxy want it to work just as bad, but are fine in letting you give out ideas. Well, yay. Duh. What girl doesn't want her man to feel comfortable just plucking her out of the air and planting a big wet one on her? Zabriza's comment is extremely unsubtle, but Hoagie obliges by hopping up, grabbing on, and with a great big handful of her ass, kisses her deep. Like that? He asks. Oh yeah, that's the good shit. You humans want to play lovey-dovey? You want to play romantic? No girl with a working brain is going to say no to that, I guarantee it. All right, you two, get off each other and get moving. We need more information. Mr. T orders and Hoagie nods. Wait, Zabriza says before buzzing out of Hoagie's arms. I don't get it. Why are you guys so afraid of the Gravids? Yeah, they're pissed, but you'll need to try to kill them before they even think about hurting a man. What's going on? Most of them are unmarried or only have one or two wives. They're not afraid for their lives, but their chastity, Hoagie says with a grin, and Zabriza starts laughing. Then laughs harder and harder until she loses her ability to stay in the air and hits the deck before choking on the humor and getting control of herself after sputtering. Big bad bounty hunters, blushing virgins. Ha! She cackles. More we don't want to be tied down too much. Our job is a little on the dangerous side for the poor, delicate maidens of the galaxy. Mustard remarks and prompts another gale of laughter from Zabriza. Shall we? Hoagie asks as his wife picks herself off the ground and she holds up a finger before leaning against him to steady herself. She huffs air like a tiny pair of bellows, then buzzes up to grab onto his back. Okay, go pony go, she calls out as agreed. Hoagie fights down the smirk at the brief look of shock that crosses the faces of the other men. The hell do you people get up to? Mr. T demands. More than you ever will, little boy. Hoagie says to the man who's got at least a half a foot and 50 pounds of raw muscle on him. The sheer, incredulous look almost makes his poker face break. Zabreza, collapsing in laughter again, does not help. He makes it 3 steps before the tickling, giggling mess that is his wife forces Hoagie to break, and he turns back to the others laughing like an idiot. It takes a moment, and then a flurry of verbal abuse is thrown right at him, prompting even more laughter from the man. Okay, but seriously people, I need a straight face for this. Dude, a chunk of the station the size of a city park has been burnt to shit. People have died in horrible fucking ways. Pukey was almost one of them, and none of us are getting paid for this shit. If we're not laughing, we're raging, Itchy says, and Hoagie stops and considers. Right. There is the issue of payment. Don't be so sure about that. I'll pull on some strings and see what I can have shake down for you all. Don't get your hopes too high, though. I'll be lucky just to get some discounts for you guys. Hoagie says, and the laughter peters off and the men look surprised. Then smile. That'd be great, dude. Even if all we get is a damn trophy, we'll at least have something for all this hassle. Mr. T remarks, I'll see what I can do. Hoagie promises before grinning. What's so funny? Just how fucking word salad today is. I'm going off with a bee to talk to a lobster about a Photoshop job that might or might not have something to do with an abortion caused by a pumpkin at the behest of a local princess with a penchant for arson. He's right, Mr. T notes. Oh my God, Mustard says with some laughter. This isn't just nuts. It's bolts, screws, and rivets too, Itchy exclaims. And with that, I bid you all adieu. I'll hopefully next be in contact when I've got some kind of information, Hoagie says, before offering them a wave and walking towards the bulkhead separating Section 7 and 8. Wish us luck. Good luck, they all call. Ignorant of what he's walking into, the arms, claws, and legs of an inconsolable lobster woman, large enough to pop every part of his back in the first part of the hug and keep squeezing. Zabreza is no help, as the moment she determined that mother, formerly Sister Clapperclaw, was in fact not going to actually hurt him, she simply backed off to enjoy the show. Miss. Hoagie tries to get her attention. The wail that answers him almost gets his ears ringing. Apparently the term close was an understatement and a half for the two. He had by this point managed to wriggle in the grip so he was facing outward between her breasts rather than being smothered by them, and although he couldn't move his shoulders for how hard he was being pressed into the fully organic crash couches, he could crane his head out and look around. There are a great number of other sisters of the faith trying to be of assistance in this trying time, but the second highest rank after the dearly departed and much lamented Mother Mailer was indeed Sister Clapperclaw. If some of the extremely fast, extremely slurred, and very, very much broken blubbering can be properly interpreted, Mother Clapperclaw is not only blaming herself, but damning herself for her part in the whole affair. What that part is hasn't come up yet, but certainly had Hoagie interested. There was also a great deal about how this was piss-poor payment for her adoption when she had been found at scarcely larger than Mother Mailer's hand and had been adopted and adored for all these years. Blah, 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 boo, 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 hoo, hoo, hoo. The gist is that the woman has something to do with it but didn't want any of this. Loved the woman more than life itself and damn near worshipped the ground she walked. Scuttled? Chittered? Skittered. He'll just stick with walked. Worship the ground she walked on. Darling? Hoagie asks after a bit, and a smirking Zabreza buzzes up to him to smile in his face. Shut her up. What's the magic word? She asks, and he leans forward to French her hard and wrestles her tongue for a moment. Then she breaks away with a happy smile. Consider it done. And I? Clapperclaw bawls before a pair of legs wrap around her head and lock her mouth shut. She instantly reaches up in shock and then feels the man that she had been cuddling for comfort fall away. She catches him and takes a moment to sort out what to do before passing him down to gently hold him in her claws and remove the legs with her hands and arms. "Excuse me?" Hoagie asks, and she pauses. "I'm Daniel Eastman with the station support, also known as Hoagie," he says, flashing a small badge on his collar that matches his claim. "I'm here to get the whole story of everything that happened earlier today. You have a piece of it. I need to hear it, for the record." "What? I got Mother killed. She—" "Ma'am, I highly doubt that. She was killed by 2 subverted assassins. This person used someone else's identity to make the payment to their accounts and then nearly murdered another man, as well as causing a lot of damage to Deck 7 before being killed." "Really?" "Really. I hired a band of mercenaries I trust to help with the investigation. She used the identity of a young Floric to be accurate, not even half a year old. When her identity was uncovered, she was in the immediate area and overheard things. The leader of the mercenaries, Captain Gregory Schmidt, was there, and he diverted her by forcing them both out an airlock. He was able to hold her at bay for nearly 2 minutes outside the station before she brought him into Section 7. She then proceeded to nearly burn it to ashes in her rage, and this drew the anger of Hunt's mistress Isma, who straight up executed the madwoman for endangering her children." Is Mr. Schmidt all right?" Mother Clapperclaws asks in horror. "He's banged up and his cybernetic arm has been reduced to scrap metal. However, he's a tough piece of work and will not only live, but is refusing both painkillers and sleep until he knows that this issue has been resolved." Oh dear. So if you could please tell me everything you know about this tragic mess of a situation, I'll be able to get him to healing all the faster," Hoagie says, and she blinks once, twice, 3 times, then shudders. "You're right. You are right. I must. I need to be strong. Mother would not want me to weep, but work to ensure that her legacy lives on. My part, yes, my part in this horror." Mother Clapperclaws mutters to herself before taking a deep breath. "I doctored one of the pictures during the presentation. I wanted both an excuse and a way to galvanize the people to help me establish a temple in Section 1. Moving to Section 2 or 3 was supposed to be a bluff to get people to think we were making a big play rather than a small one. But the original picture of the man being ripped out of the power suit, it wasn't good. He was too angry, too in control and ready to fight. He may have been smaller than the Lydrus and in clear danger, but he also looked like he wanted to skin her alive. It's hard to motivate people to righteous anger if the only victim you can see looks like they're about to kill someone." "I see. Did everyone get that?" Hoagie asks his communicator. "Loud and clear. It's a non-issue though, so it won't go much of anywhere." Bike responds. "I got a question," Dong adds in. "Why did you use my image?" "Oh my goodness." "Mother Clapperclaws?" Hoagie asks. You have a face that kind of, well..." "What's wrong with my face?" Dong asks. "I just want to pinch your cheeks and then give them a squeeze then." She trails off. "Ma'am, I don't know if you want to adopt me or fuck me, but either way, please don't pinch my cheeks. And I actually just said that. I need a drink." "Wait, you said the assassins were subverted. Where were they going originally?" Clapperclaws suddenly asks, bringing Hoagie up to eye level. He looks her straight in the face. "I sent them there originally. I feared a possible riot or a small-scale war with a gathering that big. Then things were wrenched out of my control and my worst nightmares damn near came to life with the most brutal case of irony I've ever seen. Which is why I'm going to keep hammering at all of this until it all makes complete sense, even if I have to literally take a hammer to some places and people. I love it when he gets all angry. He goes from almost a threat to definitely not a threat." Zabreza purrs. Eyes wide at that revelation, Mother Clapperclaws leans in a little and takes a sniff. Her eyebrows go up in surprise. Powerful pheromones secreted from glands all over the skin. A nearly perfect race of husbands with a culture that values competition and cunning alongside a history dripping in war. Those images, those men, you're all human. That new race, aren't you? Yes. You know, you're baffling to those like me, to those of the gravid faith. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. A whole race filled with men, born in the most brutal place in the galaxy. A species of those who must be protected and loved, born in a place where no one is safe and hatred is abundant. She says, and he shrugs. Not only am I not fit to nor informed enough to debate theology, I'm simply not in the mood to even try right now, ma'am. 2 pieces of the puzzle are laid bare. Now comes the third, the false shooter, the one offered up as the assassin who could not possibly have been the assassin. Where does she fit in?